The next section on our page is this features section. We'll start working on this section with adding these headings. So in the editor, I'm going to add another section inside the main element, right below the hero section, that will have a wrapper for heading elements. Let's add h2 heading as well as description that will be represented by the paragraph, and use arbitrary text. Right away I'm going to apply some styles to this text. For example, let's increase the text size of h2 element, set it to 4XL. The text will be bold and positioned in a center. And also I'm going to position in a center this description, add some spacing at the top. The text size will be large and the color will be gray with a shade of 600. And as you can see on the page, our new section has appeared at the bottom. But for now, the description is kind of stretched, but I want to make it so that it will be shown in 2 rows. To do so, let's make this div element container, and to restrict the width even more, I'm going to use max w screen SM class. That is basically going to make the width of this container smaller. And right now we are seeing that the description text is wrapped and shown on 2 lines. Next, we're going to be working on the first feature card. So let's get back to the editor and create wrapper container for all those cards. And by the way, those cards will be clickable, so I'm going to use links. And inside, we're gonna use article element with header as well as paragraph elements. The first feature will be settings. In here, let's add some text as a short description of this feature. And then I'm gonna go and look for an appropriate icon to put in this feature card. I'm gonna use this cog, so let's copy over this SVG code and paste it on the page. Right here, I'm going to increase the size of an icon. Let's say the size will be 12 units, and the text color, meaning that this icon color, will be indigo with a shade of 600. Let's remove this extra clause in SVG tag and check the result. All the elements are appeared. Then let's just make the description of this card a little lighter. I'm going to use text gray 600 class. And as for this heading element, we'll increase the text size, make it bolder, and add some spacing at the bottom. Or actually, we can add this margin directly to the header element in here. Or add margin top class to the description, like so. We could use any of those approaches. And just to be able to control the distance between the icon as well as the heading, I'm going to make this header flexible container where elements will be flowing vertically. And to assign the spacing between child elements, I'm going to use gap y3 class. And overall, this section doesn't have enough spacing from the top and the bottom, so let's add a couple of classes to the section element. We're also going to make this section flexible container where elements will flow vertically, the distance between elements, and in this case those elements are the block with a heading as well as the block with feature cards. We're going to make the spacing between these elements 12 units, and the paddings from the top and the bottom of this section will be 16 units, and the color, background color of this section will be light gray with a shade of 50. And just because we need that learn more button to scroll us to this features section, I'm going to add an identifier with a name features, because this identifier we have used before inside an href attribute of this link. And this way, while clicking on this learn more button, we're about to be scrolled directly to this features section. Let's try it out. I'm gonna click on the learn more link, and right away we are scrolled. Of course, this features section should contain 3 features in a row, and we can achieve it pretty easily by using grid classes. So let's turn this div into the grid and assign 3 columns to this grid, and the spacing between all those columns will be 8 units, horizontal spacing as well as vertical one. And now to make all those features to look like a real cards, let's assign the following classes. We're gonna make background color of those cards white, round corners, add border. The color of the border will be gray with a shade of 200. Paddings from all sides will be 6 units, and when we're gonna hover over the cursor on those cards, the border color will change and be indigo with a shade of 600. And also let's make these cards to cover all available height of its parent link by using hfull class. And there we go, we made this card to look like as we need to. And now all we have to do is to actually duplicate the markup of the first card and paste it a couple more times to add additional cards. So let's do it right now. We are also going to replace icons in all of those cards, as well as text of the heading and a description. So I'm going to use the icon with a name fire for the second card. Let's copy over an SVG code of this icon, paste it onto the page. Let's not forget to also assign these classes to make this icon bigger and use appropriate color and remove an old icon. At the same time, we're also going to change the text of this heading. In this case, it will say keyboard shortcuts, and change this description. And finally, let's go ahead and find an icon to the third card. In this case, I'm going to use puzzle icon. Let's copy SVG code and paste it onto the page and replace an old code of an icon with this new one, while also applying proper classes to this icon to increase the size of an icon as well as change the text color. And as always, let's use proper copies for the heading as well as description. And there we go, we got another section of the page ready.